Everyone. Welcome to the Rice Business Plan Competition info session. It's nice to have you here, and we're going to spend the next 30 to 45 minutes talking about applications to the Rice Business Plan Competition. My name is Catherine Santa Maria. I'm the director of the RBPC, and I'm joined with two colleagues, Rosalind Velasquez and Cheyenne Mitchell. They'll be helping me run the webinar today, or the web meeting. So let us kick off with the info session. If I can get my computer to work. Yes. So let me tell you a little bit about the Rice Business Plan Competition. So we are the largest and richest graduate student startup competition in the world. We are largest by the number of startups we invite to compete and richest by the amount of prize money that we give out. Last year, it was, I believe, just shy of $2 million in prizes that went out to the competitors at the event. So each year we invite 42 student-led ventures to compete over 3 days at Rice University in Houston, Texas. And the 2023 competition will be May 11th through 13th, and it will be the 23rd year of the event. The goals of the competition are to showcase the best student startups across the world and to highlight advanced university technology, research, and innovation. So we're an educational event, and we want to mirror a real-world entrepreneurial experience for our competitors. So at the event, student founders are pitching to investors, you're receiving feedback, you're learning what's required to successfully launch a new business. It's an awesome event. Of course, I am biased, but we have a lot of great feedback from our competitors and our participants that it's a really exciting and impactful time at the RBPC. So that's a little bit about the competition. I'm going to go into a few items to think about when you're applying. So I'm going to run through a couple of pages in my presentation, and then I will open the floor to questions. So if you think of any questions in the while I'm speaking, please, you are welcome to put them in the chat, and then we will address them shortly. So this is what we're going to review today in the presentation. So basic eligibility. So what do you need to do or be to apply to the Rice Business Plan Competition? So you are initially eligible if your startup is student-driven, student-created, and/or student-managed, and you have at least 2 current or very recently graduated student founders or management team members. And at least one of those students is a current graduate degree seeking student, meaning master's, PhD, MBA, JD, medical master's, and so on. So again, you are a student-driven startup. If your startup or company is managed by students, run by students, initiated by students, you have student founders, then you are eligible. And the students in your startup, if you have at least 1 graduate level student, then you are eligible. So a current student means enrolled in school right now. And very recently graduated means if you graduated after May 1st, 2022. So if you graduated in July of 2022, if you graduated in December of 2022, you are still eligible. You will fulfill that student requirement. Again, your startup must have a graduate level student involved in your company. And this all goes for competing as well. You need at least 2 students and at least 1 grad student on site at the competition in May. So whatever is in the application, whoever you apply with, consider that to be someone that you're going to have on your team at Rice. So please make sure at least 2 students and at least one of the students in your startup is a graduate level student. And I see some questions coming in, or I sort of see some questions, and we will get to them, I promise, in just a little bit. To continue on, you're initially eligible if your startup has not raised more than $250,000 in equity capital before July 1st, 2022, or if not generated any revenue of more than $100,000 in any 12-month period before July 1st, 2022. So you're eligible if your startup is seeking funding or capital, or you will be very, very soon. And you're eligible if you are a potentially viable investment opportunity. So we are looking for early stage companies, businesses, and startups at the RBPC. We are not looking for projects, ideas, or concepts. So to apply, you will do better on your application if you can show us that you are a company, a startup, that you have all or a number of pieces in place to become a company. So we're past the idea stage here. We're past the concept stage. We're looking for startups and companies that are viable, that want to continue after the competition, and that are looking for funding. And what we look for in an application. So to put forward the best application possible, there are a few points to consider. We are looking for all the questions in the application to be answered fully. If you go to the RBPC website, there is a facts section that will give you all of the questions that are in the application. They're not too onerous. A lot of them are simply asking who you are and about your startup. Again, you can see a list of those on our website, but please answer all of them fully. And what we're also looking for is an executive summary that gives a full view of your startup and addresses all the main points of your business. So each application will have a number of questions to answer, and then you will attach an executive summary about your startup. The executive summary, I think it's maximum 5 pages. You can use whatever format you like, but we want you to address all of the key components that you have in your startup that are going to tell us as much about it as possible. So again, on the RBPC website, there is under the compete section, there is a document called Eligibility and How to Apply. That has a lot of great information there for you to learn about what you should put in your executive summary. And here they are. This is a number of things that we would like to see in your executive summary. Everything from a customer analysis to describing the current state of development of your product, who your founders are. Some basic financials would be really helpful. And intellectual property. So what makes you different from all the other startups that are going to be applying? As I said, answer or address these points as fully as you can. We'd rather have more information than less. We don't want to have to guess as to what who your customers are or what exactly your startup is about. So please consider putting as much description as possible in your executive summary. Some questions ask, what if I have confidential information? Can I leave that out, or should I put that in? Please only include what you are most comfortable disclosing. I think you can generally describe your startup and technology fully without revealing any proprietary information. You're not expected to reveal any proprietary information in your application. All right, next. What's going to happen to your application when it gets to the RBPC? So I will mention this a few times, but applications are due on February 28th. That's the last day of the month. They're due by 11:59 p.m. in your time zone. So mark that date on your calendar, February 28th. So all the applications come in. So what happens is I do a cursory screen of the applications to make sure everyone is eligible, or all the applications are eligible. And then I take those applications and I farm them out to our screening committee, which is a number of people that are involved in the competition. It's a number of judges, it's a number of local entrepreneurs and investors who support us each year by reviewing applications. I try to have each application looked at 3 times. So each application should be viewed by more than a few people. The screeners will rate each application on a couple of criteria. We'll take the average of those ratings, and you'll be given a score that helps us start to rank the applications. If you'd like to see the criteria of what the application is rated on, you can look at page 8 of that document I referenced before, the eligibility and how to apply document. In there is what the screeners will be looking at. Once we get all the ratings in and the averages, a few of us in the Rice Alliance office, we look at all the applications again and start to narrow down who we think would make a good competitor with the event. In the application, you have the option of submitting an elevator pitch video. It is not required. You do not have to put that in. It's there if you want to. Your application will not be graded any higher or lower if you do or don't have it. But over the years, we've discovered that some startups would like to put forward a video that they have, or they feel that the video would do a better job of explaining their technology. Cool, add it. We'll look at it. And again, if you think it will help your application, please add it. But again, not required. So after we have all the screening scores in and we look at the applications, we've narrowed down, we will announce the 42 startups invited to the event. Applicants cannot get the screening results after the announcement of the invited startups. I'm sorry, it's just not feasible for me to give you the scores or the numbers, and frankly, it's a random number that would not be much help to you. So I'm sorry, we cannot give you the screening results. All right, that's the screening process. So how can you help your application get, say, looked at more closely or ranked or rated more highly? There are a lot of things you can do. I would like to tell you what you should not do in your application. So we will, if we see an application that doesn't give us what we want, we may get rated not as well. So low ratings may result when the applicant does not give enough information. If the application does not show that your startup is a viable business venture, or is not realistic, or makes outlandish claims. So this goes back to what we're looking for. We would like as much information as you can give. We also want you to show that you are a viable business venture, that this is something, a company that you hope will grow and progress and do great things. If you make claims like you have a dog food that will cure dog cancer, maybe you do, but that seems possibly unique, unusual. You're going to have to back it up. If you do make some big claims, we want to have you want to put the data in there that's going to show why that is. So other ways you might not be rated as highly, if you don't have any online presence, if you don't have a website, social media, Facebook account, whatever, that will show that you're not as serious about your startup as others. If you don't have an academic advisor, or your academic advisor does not know about you, then that's a red flag to us. And if you're not affiliated with a department or institute or resource on your university campus, that also indicates to us that you haven't taken, you haven't accessed resources available to you to help you grow your company. So of course, if you don't have those resources on your campus, that's fine. You can't access resources if they're not there. Also, with the academic advisor, I do reach out to a number of advisors to confirm that, get their thoughts on on your startup or various startups at their university. So make sure the person you list as your advisor knows that you exist. That's, again, a red flag if you put someone on your application that knows about your startup, but they don't. So the great thing about all these things about the application is that they can be addressed with a little time and effort. You can address all of these issues if you find that they are prevalent in your application. So consider taking some time to make sure you have all of these things and that they show up in your application. Oh my gosh, that's it. Those are my words. That's a lot of me talking. I'm sure that there are some questions coming through, and my colleague Rosalind is going to help me read some of them.
Hey, Catherine. So Rosalind's offline, but I'm here to help. So,
thanks. My colleague Cheyenne will be.
So we only have a couple of questions right now, but I think you've touched on a couple, but if you want to reiterate, are students eligible to compete if they've already incorporated?
Yes, that is great. Put that in your application. That shows us that you are serious. But you do not have to be incorporated or registered as a business to compete. That's not a requirement. I will tell you, if you are not yet incorporated or not yet a business, even if you put in your application somewhere, we're not incorporated, but we're thinking about it, or we're taking steps to do that, great. We like to see that. So incorporation, not required, but good if you are already incorporated.
Okay. Sorry, Catherine.
I'm done. Yes, thank you.
Someone just wanted clarification about if they're graduating May of 2021.
If you graduated in 2021, then you're not eligible. You are not considered a recent graduate. So if you have other students on your team that are still students, you may consider putting them forward as representatives of your startup for the competition.
Okay.
But May 2021 is not considered current.
We're going to do one more question in the chat, and then Sean raised their hand. Should we also have 2 members as founders? I think that's what they meant to say.
So the participating members, I think what this means is, do you need to have 2 founders involved? So technically, yes, you need at least 2 founders or people involved with your startup. We do not want a solo founder. We want a team. We want a group of people involved. So if you are a solo founder, solo entrepreneur, and you have a startup, I would go find another student to join you. Yes, very quickly. And then you'll be eligible. Someone that's involved in your startup, that knows about your startup, that's helped you with it. So you do need 2 students participating. The 2 students participating, they don't both have to be founders. It looks great if they are, but 1 founder is fine. But again, your team needs to have more than 1 student.
Great. Shant, I believe I pronounced that correctly. If you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, you did, China. Thank you. So I'm from Fairfield University. I'm with their startup program. Hopefully I could represent our school in May. I just have 2 brief questions. So for the executive summary, for the program here, we came up with what we call a one-pager, and it's somewhat graphically intensive. It's got a lot of pictures, things that represent different facts about the startup. But the executive summary, I'm sort of getting the vibe that it should be more simple and more just straight facts, blocks of text, basic information, and hope to keep it under 5 pages. Is that all right, or would it be okay if I included some of the graphics?
Oh yeah, include whatever you can fit in 5 pages, especially if it's something you feel, even if it's a graphic you feel would clearly describe or detail what your technology is or what your goal is. Yeah, that's totally fine. I would not make an executive summary all graphics. Like we're gonna need to see some words. It's rare that I see an all graphic executive summary. So you're good there.
Okay. All right. So I'll expand upon what I already have. Got it. And my second question is, I'm a senior at Fairfield. My team, I have 3 people besides me. They're all graduate students currently. So I just wanted to double check, make sure it's all right that the team is graduate students, but the founder is an undergraduate.
Yeah, that's fine. So a mixed team of graduates and undergraduates is totally fine. So
great.
Make sure that when you fill out the application, you'll have to list at least one graduate student. So that's fine.
I've already gone through.
Yeah, that's cool. That's totally fine.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Ms. Santamar.
So question about grad specific team members, since we just mentioned that, Catherine. If one of the founders is about to graduate from university in less than 2 to 3 weeks after the competition, will that meet the graduate student team member criteria?
Oh yeah, if you graduate after the competition, that's fine. Yeah. If your graduate student or any student leaves just after the competition, yes, that's fine.
Okay. Yep. And then another question that we had is, what category does consulting services fall under?
I'd say it might depend on the services, but my first thought is consumer products and services category. So in the application, you're allowed you can put a primary sector and then a secondary sector. So I would, and I think even with primary sector, you choose one of the 5 sectors available, and then the next question is, and to be more specific, my startup could fall into these subcategories. If you find that your subcategory is not there, I think there's a text box for you to put it in. But if not, just click other, and then make sure in your description we know that you're a consulting services company. Anyway, long story short, consumer products and services is fine. If you're a consulting services for a specific industry, maybe that would be, you could put it in that second category. I hope that helps. These are all really good questions. Are there any more? You may unmute yourself or put it in the chat.
Quick question, actually.
Sure.
So my company is software where the primary section, I believe, would be digital commerce. I think that was the I forget what it was. It was the digital
enterprise.
Digital enterprise, yeah. I think that's the primary, since we're dealing with advertising, and it's advertising in XR, VR and AR. But I also saw that there is the hardware sector with VR and AR. Should I also include that?
Yeah, I would put, yeah, you can put the AR/VR as it's your choice. You could put in one sector, you can put it in digital enterprise, or you could put it in a hard tech. I think that's where AR and VR fall.
Yep.
You can note it in your subsector. So for sectors at the competition, so for the application, we ask you to put it in a specific, or to identify your sector so that we can put you with screeners who know that sector. And then for the competition, that also helps us find a place to put you at the competition. If you are invited to the competition, we will try and put you in a round one flight with your sector, but sometimes there are startups that kind of move between sectors. So we give ourselves the prerogative to move you where we think you would best fit.
Got it. All right. That sounds good. Yes, thank you.
That's, again, long answer.
We have a couple more questions, Catherine. When are the participating teams going to be announced?
That will be on March. I think it's the week of March 20th. I have to look at my calendar, but week of March 20th, possibly. I think, yeah, I'm thinking like March 21st or 22nd. So I send an email to all of the applicants and everyone on my mass email list with a note as to when we announce the startups, and we do it. I think we do it we do a video, so you can tune in and watch the video when it's launched or anytime. And yeah, we'll let you know.
How many student teams usually apply?
Good question. Yes, I forgot to mention that. Last year, I got 350 viable applications. So 350 applications that I sent out to my screening pool. Viable means that they met the minimum requirements to compete, or to apply and compete. So this goes back to my point about being very clear and descriptive in your executive summary and in your description of your startup and who you are and what you do. So every now and then I'll get a description that says, my startup is disrupting the rideshare industry. It may be, but if that's all you give me to go on, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know how much time I'm going to want to spend on that application, because that's a big claim and it doesn't tell me very much. So again, when you have a chance to talk about your startup, describe it, please tell me more information than I'd ever want to know. That will help us review your application.
So following on this trail, in terms of participants and those who accepted, are there any prizes for those that are accepted into the competition?
All startups that are invited to compete and go through the competition, so those 42 startups, everyone is given a prize of some kind. I think there's a basic, it's not basic. I think the lowest level we've been able to offer is $800. So if you come to the competition, you're assured of winning at least $800. And that is truly to help offset some of the travel and accommodations that you'll need to spend in coming to Houston. So yes, technically, yes, everyone gets a prize, but we do have a really nice array of prizes at the competition. We have investment prizes, we have cash prizes, we have in-kind prizes, we have prizes that are based on your placement of the competition. We have prizes based on what sector you're in. There's an elevator competition pitch prize. So if you go, thank you, Cheyenne, she has put a link to our prize page from our website. That's still being updated. I think what's there is from 2022, but we expect the prizes to be very similar to that for 2023.
Great. I got a private message or a private question. Is there a maximum amount of members permitted per team?
Yeah, so at the competition, you can bring up to 4 competing members. So your startup team can have 4 people on it that can participate, that can pitch, that can do everything. So those 4 members need to be current students, current or very recently graduated, as is outlined in the rules. You can have other members of your startup attend, but they cannot join you in the pitches or presentations. So for example, we've had startups come, they bring their 4 members. They have a 5th member who is, maybe a postdoc, or a 5th member who is an advisor, or a 5th member who is just has graduated outside of the eligibility rules. So that 5th member, they are welcome to come with you. They can advise you. They can watch your pitch. They can help you work on your presentation throughout the competition. But that 5th member who is not eligible, they cannot join you in the pitches or presentations. A lot of startups will bring an advisor, an academic advisor, which is great if you have someone to join you. They're also invited. Yes, so 4.
Great. And
4 active members. Yeah.
One more question. Is RBPC something a food and beverage company could attend?
If you mean to compete, then yes. I think last year we had a food and beverage company get in our finals, at least one. Yeah, we had food and beverage company was our 6th place overall winner. Yeah, so food and beverage is under consumer products and services. That should be a subsector that you can list. For anyone that wants to just attend the competition, let's say you from university and you apply and you don't get accepted to the competition, but you want to attend because you want to see what it's all about and maybe prepare for next year, you are more than welcome to attend. And we will put out a registration form for any attendees. That will probably get that sorted in, I don't know, April. But yeah, we do accept people just attending the competition because they want to find out or they want to see what it's all about. Yes. Are there any more questions? These have been really good questions. So we've been recording this web meeting. I'm gonna put it on our website for you or any of your colleagues to watch, if that would be helpful. I'll also put, these slides are already on the RBPC website if you'd like to review what we went over in this webinar. And if you have any other questions, you are welcome to, is that my, yeah, yes. Is that right? RBPC@rice.edu is my email address, and you are more than welcome to contact me there if you have any further questions about eligibility or the competition or your application. Again, I do encourage you to look at the document on our website called Eligibility and How to Apply. Cheyenne linked it in the chat, but that's got almost everything you could need. And but again, I'm happy to answer any questions from now until February 28th, which is how many? 3 weeks? I don't even, yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah, roughly 3 weeks from now. So again, I encourage you to look at the application questions. You can start your application online and come back and finish it later. Please do try and get it in. If you can get it in before the 28th, that would be awesome, just so you make sure it goes through. Not that we have any tech issues, but just the satisfaction of knowing you're done. I hope is enough to encourage you to get it in. But of course, you have until February 28th, 11:59, I don't know, Pacific, whatever the most Western time zone is, to get it in. So thank you. I'm very happy to see you today on this call. And again, please contact me with any questions going forward. Thanks to my colleagues, Shriana and Rosalind, for assisting with this webinar. And I hope to see all of your applications soon. Oh, I had one more page.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Got my final resource page. Well, thank you.